Hello everyone and welcome back to the Elite Dangerous Theme Park, which is basically just working on a shopping center. And we will be going ahead across the street this episode to construct a new building. Of course, we're going to block it in using just the plain metal bits here, and then we'll add some more detail. Also, you'll notice that there's a lot more pathing kind of raised up and connection points to the upper floor now. Need to go ahead and place those just so we have a direction and some foresight as to where all these things are going to be connecting together. It will help us hopefully build a more cohesive structure in the long run. Now, we are trying some different shapes here near the top. I wanted to mess with a possible cylinder kind of roof element on this one, and then go ahead and try some different detailing work around that. But until then, we're basically just still blocking in, and blocking in is not something that most people have to do or something that you specifically need to do to make good structures in Planet Coaster. It's just my general workflow process because it allows me to see a good amount of progress very quickly, and then it's just detailing it out. It's basically providing me a canvas to springboard into ideas for how things might look at more of a granular and ground level. Now, using panels, piping throughout the structure, just like we have been. This right here is going to be a larger sign kind of vise. It's going to be holding something eventually. Obviously, we're going to need a lot more signs here in the shopping district, and a lot more lights, a lot more vibrant colors eventually. So we'll eventually scrape off all this grayness and replace it with a whole bunch of bright colors, bright things to hopefully attract a lot of people to this area, and then keep them there by using some color theory. So for example, the color red and things, that actually kind of makes people a little bit more hungry. Yellows tend to hurt one's eyes and will actually make them want to leave earlier. That's why the color scheme for McDonald's is so kind of ingenious. Is just the fact that you have those yellow arches and the yellow M and then the red. So the red, of course, is very symbolic and instantly recognizable with those yellows, but they do serve a purpose in the sense that one gets you hungry and one makes you want to leave quickly just for turnover rate. It's kind of seen throughout marketing in a common sense at this point. And there goes my phone buzzing at me while recording. That's always a fun moment. We will be introducing some greenery elements. I'm thinking about making some larger planters throughout, maybe on the pathway itself. That's a little harder to do just because people will be clipping through it, but if you surround it hopefully with, say, benches and trash cans, it would deter your little peeps down there from walking too closely and through all the elements that you don't need them to go in. We'll be hiding up some AC units above some elements, just so there's some layer of depth, things behind items and above you, which is great. We will also be, adding some storefront colors and some storefront signs here. So the Chief Beef sign, the Street Fox Coffee sign, things that are, marking out the specific stalls. But then I do like the vertical signs here as well. The vertical signs to me very much yells out kind of a Neo Tokyo Blade Runner feel. And you stack enough of those and then work in a few horizontal signs. I'm thinking about potentially hanging some signage off the pathways above. I think that would be a nice thing to do. That is kind of a detailing pass though. For now, I just want to get all these structures kind of boxed in and working. We're copying the orange grate-like mentality on this side as we did across the street. And we'll also be running some pipes along the building and around the top here. So if you guys haven't seen the F1 kind of I think it was a coaster station. Yes, a coaster station. I'm starting to lose track of my days. The coaster station the other day that we made a more racetrack themed. I did this off of the Audra Raceway, and I wanted to kind of bring that element here into our sci-fi build because it looks very modern to have these piping elements holding up signs, and that's kind of the long-term plan. The large kind of empty squares on top of this will have signs for things, and that's actually something that where I currently live does as well. The mall has a metal framework armature kind of holding the main kind of lead shops up for everyone to see, and I think that's something that I want to try and emulate. I'm really liking using the upside down storage kind of cart there for cargo. I think that texture is really nice for a roof texture in certain areas, and also sometimes you get a little bit of the overhang on the metal struts, and that can look nice as well. Now, the other building across the street has that very large window. I wanted to have a larger window on this structure just so that it is there greeting you, very similar to the other side. Using a large gun upside down to get some columns and a interesting connection point at the bottom. I haven't used that asset like that before, and I kind of like the look of it just because it provides kind of a detail piece without having to use too many structures. We're also going to be expanding the decking that we saw on the left side of the road over here, and we will be building some seats as well as soon as we go ahead and decorate this wall fully. It's all about kind of filling in the little gaps with a little bit of details, popping some things out, pushing some things back, and I wanted to also have a covered section on this right side of the structure, and we went ahead, did that using a simple kind of walled off tunnel, and using some of the window tiles. If you put them a block and a half apart from each other, you actually get that middle thin window there, which turned out pretty nice, surprisingly. It wasn't really a planned thing, and you know, sometimes with Planet Coaster, just like with anything else, testing and just throwing things together and seeing if something sticks and works out for you is definitely the way to go. At this point, you know, I wanted to see if I could copy just one of these benches. Apparently it was still tied to the other building. I didn't know that until I went down to try and place it and went ahead and made a new blueprint. So now that we have that bench kind of stall permanently saved, which is great. I just love the look of that, and I want to use it again and again for more cohesion reasons. You know, the seating should match kind of all the way through. That's kind of what you see in mall-like plazas, cafeterias, and things, you know, eateries. They're going to be sharing a lot of the same assets in that sense. Going around, checking, making sure, seeing if anything jumps out. I wanted a covered section over here. The other side has one as well. This one's going to be different. It's not just going to be like a flying saucer-like element. This is going to be using the pipe-like framework that we have above. That way it's kind of a more matching unit. So the ground element has it, and then the top of it has it. And I think that's a pretty cool thing to shoot for. We're just going to be using some of the modern windows there. Two side by side, and then some more sci-fi paneling and things just to make it look a little bit more grounded, heavier, and more industrial to match the rest of the building. We're also going to frame some of these dead space areas with some more paneling and get a cross beam across the upper connection point. I could have used pipes again, but I think that would have been a little too distracting from just the glass. So using something from the structure itself seemed to fit, and then going back in with some wooden elements here to create some lower cross members. And we're leaving the center section with no glass simply because that the glass that's up there isn't see-through, and I do want to have the opportunity of seeing through your building in some way, some fashion. I think that's a good way to give you some little bit of layering from above, because this game is generally played at a relatively high angle. Now it's pretty much just continuing the detailing out. We're running pipes along here. We're not going to finish this whole building this episode. we're just going to be able to finish up pretty much about half of it, and then we'll go ahead in the next episode, detail it all out, make it all match, very much similar to the other side. And then at that point, this structure will be done. I do want some catwalks though up here along the roof, make it look like some maintenance folk can access all these panels, potentially in case a light bulb goes out. You want people to be able to replace these things. And you know, for me, it's a little bit of a storytelling element. I kind of enjoy that kind of thing in my build. So let's go ahead and take a look at it in real time so you guys can take in some of the details and give me some feedback. Alright, so this is currently where we are at for completing the right side kind of main entryway here to complete the little loop that you'll find in major corridors in the left and the right side of the main path of the shopping district. Now, of course, eventually there'll be some taller buildings down the line, but you really want to try and keep this little U shape going for as far down as possible. It makes the thing look very long and tall. Also, eventually we will have a back structure there, hopefully some sort of ride or something. I haven't even thought that far ahead. I'm so bogged down with just trying to complete this area and all its little details, and then we have to recolor it, add all these wonderful vertical signs, give them some text. Is that supposed to be blinking? If that is, that's cool. Fine. I'm fine with blinking lights. That's actually something that I kind of wanted in this area. But anyways, we have new signs going up for the vendors. We have people going into the upper deck areas using the stores up above at this point. Wouldn't mind having a little bit of a wider path, but I think right now that's okay. Even this store over on the right side is getting some traffic, but it looks like really a lot of people want to go to Looney Balloons and get their colored balloon here in the shopping area. A lot of people have them. A lot of people also have hats, so that's always a good thing. Here, the outside kind of covered seating area, very similar to what we did over on this side, but just some more extra seats and possible shade provided over here. Now, because these aren't see-through, I did leave some opening so that as you're going through, you can kind of see the shadows dance beneath there, and also it provides a little bit of an interesting look from below as well, letting some light in and highlighting some of the benches quite nicely. Kind of a nice. How many times have I said nice? I need to stop using that word. My goodness. We have a extension kind of ramp area here, and we're basically just blocking in this back area. I kind of want to do something interesting with the staircase. Haven't really thought that far ahead, so the detailing kind of fades away as you go farther back, but we were really only going to complete half this city block. Very similar to what we did over here. We really only completed half of it, and then we did the back half later on. This is kind of a larger project, just because we have to get everything fitted together and get it all straightened out. I really like the framed topping up here, right above the air conditioning units that are covered. Very similar to what we were doing with the F1 race kind of coaster. And eventually I'll put some signs in here, some advertisements hanging off these pipes, and I think that'll make it look very bright and just a very huge wall of advertising space, which will look hopefully pretty cool in the long run. Two new shops working on down here. We got the donut shop and we got Chief Beef. Another little bit of a tall window. I need to get rid of the pillar here though real quick. Let's see, we need a path support. There we go. And you can just upgrade your path to get rid of some things like that. So there we have a nice seat, you know, surrounded by some flowers right across, listening to some music from our one little tree so far. I definitely want to add more green space as we go through. It sounds like a very busy outdoor mall that you find here. I like it. It's looking good. Anyways, I think that's going to be us for this episode. Still, so much to do in this park. I am a little overwhelmed with how much we have left. A lot of dead space here in the middle. You know, this is taking shape nicely, but we need to try and integrate that with the landing pad eventually. And of course, something over here. I want more greenery, more kind of high-tech looking areas as well. We need to finish up the cargo area. Need to decorate this whole thing and eventually make a coaster. It's going to be quite a long series for this one, guys. So if you guys like, you know, Planet Coaster, feel free to leave a like. Go ahead and leave a comment down below what you want to see built eventually in the park, as we're still kind of finishing up the shopping area, or if you have any feedback on what's already been built for us. I do like to leave you guys with just a pulled back view of all that we've constructed so far. It's quite a nice project that we have going here on the channel. So I do want to thank you guys again for the support, and until then, I'll see you all in the next episode.